Hello and welcome to a new reading vlog. So after the last vlog where I read the really freaky books, I was just really looking forward to reading some regular normal mainstream popular books. And so I will just be mood reading what I have found at my library, hopefully stuff that is quite tame and maybe cozy and not far out there, man. So I'm going to head to the library, grab some books. I am also going out with my cousin Phoebe for brunch today, and I'm probably going to hit up a thrift store, sell some of my threads, maybe pick up some new ones, but that's on the agenda for today. So I'll see you guys when I've returned and read some. Okay, I'm back. Terra Twilight is one of my favorite cafes. Just the vibes and the food is always wunderbar. So I had a great lunch with Phoebe. She did get me a present because she is going to Europe for 3 months. So she's going to miss my birthday. So she got me an early present. She's such a sweetheart. So I'm going to open it. Oh my God. What a munchkin. This is my favorite supermarket chocolate. Oh, she's so adorable. And she's got me a crystal. What a little sweetie. Oh, we've got a chunk of amethyst. Can't have too much amethyst, I say. Thank you, Phoebe. What a doll. Am I going to eat that whole box? Yes. Boxes. I also got some things. So I went and Goodbyes is a secondhand shop, and they did take all of my items, which is fantastic. So if they all sell, I'll get some money from my clothes. That's a great thing about buying secondhand, like good quality clothing, is you can normally resell it. Ended up grabbing these. So these are Love Moschino. They're just super comfortable. I love a comfortable shoe. My foot can lie flat and my toesies can spread, and I can do a walkabout in these. So very happy with my sandal. It's getting warmer now, so I'll be able to wear these. I also found Incubate. Remember that store that I loved in Melbourne Central, but it was just so tiny and so packed that was a bit overwhelming? Well, they actually have a physical shop. Such a better browsing experience. Still overwhelming because there's so many things and you just don't have all the money. What would it be like to have unlimited funds that wherever you go, you can just buy whatever you want? But instead, I have to sit there and deliberate. What should I get? What am I going to have to pass up on? And it was so hard. It was especially these beautiful like crochet jewelry. And I'm like, I really want it, but it was very pricey because obviously the craftsmanship is exquisite. Phoebe ended up getting some of the earrings and the ring. She looks gorgeous in them, but I had to say no for today. Maybe in the future, but I did get just a few things. So I got myself this candle. It is in the scent of autumn harvest, and it just smells like forest and spices. Gorgeous. And then I got something for my kids because I'm like, oh, if I'm going to get something for myself, I got to buy something for my children. So I got Indy these capybara stickers because she's obsessed with capybaras at the moment. Blue's in the bag. Is that fun? Yeah. Yeah. And I got these for my daughter Valentine. So these are just some pearlescent, iridescent earrings. Hopefully she likes them. It's hard to buy for her. With Indy, anything that's cute, she's going to love. V is very particular, so she might not like these, otherwise I'll have them, I guess. But definitely a store I'm going to keep on going back to in the future because obviously sometimes they have different artists renting out their little cubes. But just an amazing selection. And like I said, if I had the wallet, just... I would buy everything, buy all the things. But I had a fun day out and about, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay guys, so I have read some books. I'm going to get started. First up, I did read A Room Called Earth by Madeline Ryan. And basically this is like a day in the life of an autistic, quirky, kinda acerbic and standoffish woman who is very privileged and is able to live exactly how she wants. She has a ginger cat named Pork Chop and a massive shrine dedicated to her guardian angel, Heath Ledger. I enjoyed it. I can see a lot of people would probably say that she wasn't a very likable character, but I found it entertaining. I mean, who doesn't want to live vicariously through someone who has a mansion in Turak with lush gardens, an Aphrodite fountain, a library, and a butterfly house? So I found it entertaining. I gave it a 3.5 stars. I'd say read this if you like Mirror Affirmations, Yasmina Rossi, Manic Pixie Dream Girls, and Ulysses Butterflies. I then picked up The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim, and this is about a young woman. I believe they're Korean, they live in America. Their father has just left their family to start a new one. Their mother is not doing well, and then one day their mum comes home with a white man boyfriend who has an Asian fetish and is gross. The eldest daughter starts eating fish eyes, and then she starts having all these dreams about eating human eyes, and she starts failing her classes at school. She makes a hot black chick friend, and she also collects a creepy stalkerish dude, but he's feminist guy, so he's an ally. Yeah, and pretty much she finds herself surrounded by shitty men, so what's a girl to do about it? Probably eat some eyes to cope. This definitely takes a very bizarro twist and turn. It's if you don't like reading about eating eyeballs, don't read this book. It's filled with it. I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay. However, it employs, I don't know what you call this, a type of scene repeatedly, and it's one I despise, in which something is happening, you're reading about it, and then all of a sudden, oh, it was just a nightmare. She wakes up. And this happened, I would say, at the minimum 10 times, but it felt like 50. It's probably close to 20. A scene would play out and it's like, oh no, don't worry guys, it was just a bad dream. It's not real. Oh, no, she was sleeping again. And I despise it. I hate it. It just feels pointless. It's just a way to shoehorn in a violent, crazy scene without derailing the story. Because it's like, oh no, it didn't actually happen. She was just dreaming it. So for me, overall, it was a 3-star read. It's not super scary. So if you want a more mild horror, but it does include body horror, so keep that in mind, then I'd say this is for you. Yeah, it was fine. Like, is her rage against these men justified? Partially, but it's not just against these men. She fucks with a lot of people. So I didn't particularly like her or her mother. Like, the sister in this, she was great, and poor girl to be in that family. But The Eyes Were the Best Part, 3 stars for me. I'm currently reading the Book of Thorns by Hester Fox. So this is a historical, is it fantasy or magical realism? Probably magical realism book. And you've got 2 women, both of whom have the same affinity in that they've got a connection to flowers. So they can literally kind of hear flowers, speak the language of flowers, which is right up my alley. I love that shit. I eat it up. And do other things. So they've kind of got like poison ivy kind of powers. One was a rich woman, I think, in an English household, and her uncle wanted to marry her off to an abuser. So she's like, no, don't want any of that. I'm just going to make it on my own. So she goes hitchhiking and winds up in a war band, I think for Napoleon. She also speaks French, so luckily she's able to pass. And she is bisexual, and there is a throuple in this. And then the other woman is a maid, and she's been getting SA'd by the son of her employers on a regular basis. And then one day, luckily, another woman comes in, sees her floral arrangements, because she is in charge of doing the floral arrangements in this house, and says, I want that maid so she can come teach my daughters how to make flowers look pretty in vases. And she's like, this is my ticket out of this horrible abusive situation, and maybe I can rest easy. So she goes there and she meets an English officer. And so you've got these 2 women that seem to be linked in some way. Are they long lost sisters? I don't know. One is with the French army for Napoleon, the other is with the English. So at the moment it's just going in between the 2 of them. It's feeling like a 3-star, maybe 3.5 star. Really, it's a 3.25, but we know I don't do a quarter, so that's why I'm pushing through, because it feels like a 3.25. So I'm like, oh, it could tip over to 3.5 star, or it could end up being a 3, but I'm intrigued enough to continue on. I'm halfway through. and I would like to see the women meet. Like basically, I'm holding out for that point where the two roads meet and to see what happens and what the point of the book is, unless it's just a character romance novel. So that's what I'm currently reading. And I'm currently listening to The Life Impossible by Matt Haig because it's not going to win my poll for the book club. So I thought, I'll listen to it now. It became available on audiobook. It's voiced by Joanna Lumley. So it's Patsy Darling. And the main character was sort of giving Helen Mirren vibes. She's a 70-year-old who's had a lot of grief and loss in her life. Her husband and her child are dead. And she is clearly depressed and grieving and suffering from anhedonia. Basically, life has become barren and bleak and grey, and she cannot find pleasure or joy in anything and is just pretty much waiting for death. Until one day, a long lost friend, well, kinda friend, has died and bequeathed her a house in Ibiza. And she's just like, what? Me? What do you mean? Why? And the curiosity got the better of her, and she's like, you know what? It's a change of scenery. My life has just become so monotonous and routine and dull. Maybe this will be good for me, and I can figure out why she has left me this house when she actually has a living daughter. So off she flies to Ibiza. There's a note saying, hey, girly, I know you're probably confused right now, but I need you to trust me. I want you to go scuba.
Are you guys for scuba?
What does that mean?
I'm like the unofficial scuba king of St. Bart. So, if you are for scuba, I take you out on the boat, I show you the coral reef, and we have kind of like a scuba party.
Scuba diving with this Spanish guy that everyone on the island does not like and thinks is hella shady. But trust me, trust fam, I got you. So she eventually does it. And this is definitely a book that is veering past magical realism to fantasy at this point. But she goes scuba and she ends up, I don't want to spoil everything, but it's basically she has a complete change and it's like she has megadosed on shrooms. And I will leave it at that. I can't get too much into the magical element of this because it's not in the synopsis, but I'm seeing where this is going. I don't know where this is going. It was very slow up until this point, so slow. And it feels a bit more of a cozy read. I don't know. Like I said, things have started to just veer into the wacky after this experience. So I don't know how far Matt is going to take this and run with it. It's not what I was expecting. But yeah, look, it's feeling like a 3.25 as well. We shall see. I am still going to continue on with it. And I'll probably listen to it all the way through. I'm at the point where I will listen to the whole thing. So I will not be DNFing it. And then I'm heading to the library because some other books have come in that I really want to read. One of which is Goblin Mode, which was on my TBR for this month. And I have barely read any of my TBR because I've been doing themed vlogs, which has been fun. It's nice to shake it up, but I might just do mood reading for a while because yeah, with the themed ones, generally they're books that are not on my TBR. They're just ones I found to fit the theme. Whereas like, yeah, my TBR is starting to get a lot. I normally like to leave it at 100 books, but it's over 100 now. And I'm like, we gotta fix that. So I'll go and pick those up. I'm going to a cafe today, just on my own. But it's a beautiful, beautiful spring day. So we're finally in spring. I'm so happy. Spring is a bit volatile though. We get a lot of rain. So it'll be like, sunny and lush. And then the next day, hail and typhoon winds. Yeah. I would like to go out and plant some of my wildflowers today because they came. So I'd like to plant the rest of those and just pitter-patter about and keep reading. Tomorrow I've got the Beetlejuice premiere. So I'm doing a whole themed vlog for that. And you'll see that in the past. So I'm filming it out of time. So you'll already have seen the Beetlejuice vlog, but that is happening tomorrow. And I'm very excited. And I can't help but have high expectations. I know I should go on with none, but Beetlejuice is one of my favorite all-time movies. And I just love Michael Keaton. I think he's an underrated actor. I really love everything I have seen him in. And yeah, he's just the ghost with the most babes. So I will only show you a little bit of my day tomorrow because obviously most of that's going to be in the Beetlejuice vlog, but I'll see once I've read some books. I might show you my library haul when I get home. Okay, I am back from my little outing. I had a lovely lunch and I went to the library, so let me tell you what I got. I've picked up Goblin Mode and I will definitely be reading this in this vlog because this is on my TBR and I'd like to knock something off. So we shall have a read of this. I also picked up Lydia Davis, Our Strangers. I think this is meant to be a little bit of a weird one. I think I might be incorrect, but grabbed that. I also picked up Die Hot with a Vengeance, Essays on Vanity by Sable Yong. I saw this at Metropolis Bookstore and my best friend Kate also wanted me to grab this one, but because I had already requested it at my library, I decided not to buy it. Maybe I should have after seeing how all of the other books went, but I am excited to read it. I also grabbed Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. So I have heard about this and I just want to see what it's like and we'll give it a go. And the final book I picked up was Priest Daddy by Patricia Lockwood, a memoir. So if you recall, I did read Patricia Lockwood's poetry book, Motherland, Fatherland, Homeland, Sexual. And there was a poem in there called Rape Joke, which I thought was really well done. And it intrigued me enough just to see something else of hers. And there were good reviews on this, but it is a memoir and I'm like this with those. So we'll see how it is. But those were the books that I picked up from the library. Okay, so I've read some more books. I've realized that I've been sort of sleeping on reading the graphic novels and comic books. I haven't really been prioritizing those and I do love reading graphic novels and comic books. So I'm just getting distracted by Nova, baby. It's too high for you to jump. So I am going to tell you about some that I've just read. So the first one I picked up was called Sea Serpents, Heir Book 1, The Pirate's Daughter by Margaret Scott and Pablo Tunica. So this is basically about sea serpent demons, a pirate queen, and religious knights all fighting each other to the death, basically. So you have a young girl, and I can't really give anything away because it is a bit of a, reveal kind of graphic novel. Very violent, darker themes, interesting. I didn't mind the art style. It wasn't my fave though, but the story was a little bit cloudy. So it's just a little bit muddy, but I still kind of got the gist of what was going on. It was very fast paced, which I don't mind. I love me a quickie. I love me a Speedy Gonzalez story. But yeah, it's about all these different factions, so to speak, and you kind of trying to figure out, well, who are the bad guys? Who are the good guys? Is it all just grey? Is everyone sort of half villain, half hero? And this poor girl's just trying to figure out her place in all of it and what she should be doing. So didn't mind it. I've given it a 3.5 stars. It was a decent fun time. I have no desire to continue on in the series, but enjoyed my time. The cats are just going off. Girls, you're distracting me. Sylvie and Nova. I hope my glasses aren't too distracting with the light from the window. That probably is. If I take them off though, I'm going to have a red mark on my nose because these ones leave a red mark. But I might just take them off so I don't reflect on you. So the next graphic novel that I picked up was Klik, Klik, Boom. This is the second in the series and it's by Doug Wagner, Doug Dabbs and Matt Wilson. I'm going to start by saying I did love the illustration style in this. The cover is what caught my attention. And this is basically John Wick meets Harley Quinn. So you've got a main character, oh my God, what was her name? Sprout, named Sprout. And like she's giving Harley Quinn vibes, she is a bit of Mad Hatter-ish, but she's also a fully elite assassin and she is assassinating people in this. So she's just getting everyone on her Kill Bill list and it is fun to watch. It is justified vengeance. She's mute, so she does communicate via Polaroids that she takes. She ends up sort of teaming up with this, I think she was a podcaster, could be a journalist, but she was trying to sort of uncover criminal undergoings. She's very much though like a sort of a regular person, so there is a lot of humor in this because all of a sudden she gets thrown into this absolute madcap mayhem. It's like, what is happening? What is going on? She doesn't have any fighting skills, clearly. But it was just so much fun. There's also an adorable bunny involved. And besides the vengeance, which is obviously going on, there's a strong focus on female friendship. So I love these two. I don't know if there's going to be a sapphic romantic element in this, but at the moment they are just besties that are being sort of thrown together because of these really bad guys and corporations. It is, like I said, very violent. She's popping off everybody in interesting ways, but I loved her, even though she doesn't say anything. She says a lot. The facial expressions are really well done in this. And yeah, it was just a blast. I had a fun time. So I did give it 4.5 stars. I don't feel the need to continue on with the series. I know it's going to be more of the same. This was enough. You know, I got my thrill ride, my girly gangsters getting their hands dirty. Vengeance was served to a lot of people. And like I said, some bonds were formed along the way. And the trio of Sprout, Serena, and Beatrix the rabbit is just heartwarming. I've almost finished Book of Thorns. It seems to be taking a turn that I am very much against. Hopefully it doesn't go down that way because then I will not enjoy it. But yeah, witchcraft trials have come into play. The women have met yes, some things have happened between characters that I'm like, no, I don't like this. Are you just trying to cause conflict for the sake of causing conflict in a story? It doesn't make sense. It's not right. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. And obviously I will also finish off Life Impossible. And I think I might just cap it at those 3 because this might otherwise be much too long of a reading vlog, but then I'll just continue on mood reading for the rest of the month. I'll also probably throw in a booktuber subscriber recommendation video because I get so many of those. I'd like to do at least 1 video a month reading other books that I found from other sources, and then obviously end up with the Wild Ones book club. It looks like Lady Macbeth is going to be Zavina. A Sorcerer Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher was riding its heels, so I'm not sure who's going to win, but I'm excited to read whatever wins. So I'll see you guys the next time I've read something. Okay guys, I'm here and I have to make this quick because I'm heading off to see Beetlejuice today and I'm very excited. But I did read Goblin Mode by Michaela Coyle. And if you're wondering what sort of communities is Goblin Core directed at, it's about neurodivergent people, members of the LGBTQ+ community, especially trans and non-binary folks, anti-capitalists, introverts, artists, nature lovers, fans of both Baba Yaga and Baby Yoda, people who know a lot about crows, goth gardeners, and other cool, if slightly fringe people. So it is basically like cottagecore, but make it messy, creepy, weird, and for the fringe communities. The book is all in green. I kind of wish it had also been full color, but I see like green is going with the Goblin theme. It's got a whole bunch of fun activities to do. And I did learn new things. Like for instance, did you know that you can eat acorns? I did not. There's a recipe for acorn brittle in here. There's a lot of mention too of sort of more slimy, creepy crawly critters rather than the typical cottagecore animals you would associate. So yeah, this is like cottagecore but make it Halloween coded. I thought it was a fun time. It was a fun read and I enjoyed my time with it. And then I finished The Book of Thorns by Hester Fox. I realized I actually don't have time to finish off the review. I will have to finish it when I get back because I've got to scoot. I'll see you guys when I return. Okay, I'm back. So the cat's having a fight. Let me tell you about the rest of the books that I read for this reading vlog. So Book of Thorns. Hoo boy, it did end up going in a direction I didn't enjoy. I felt like the sisters were not likable characters. Their actions, maybe some people might think were justifiable. I do not. They were despicable towards my favorite character in the book, which is the English captain, William, I think his name was. He was a decent human being, and the way that they treated him, no. Do I think William has poor taste in women for falling in love with one of their sisters? Yes, I think he needs to go to therapy. And William, and I know, like William, I know you love this person unconditionally, but sometimes you do have to go, hey, I love you, but I can't condone this behavior and I have to bounce. I ended up giving it a 2.5 stars. Yeah, I don't know. It was a bit of a bizarre book. It was a bizarre book. And I think if you really, really love flowers and botany, you might enjoy it. If you like historically set books during wartime with multiple love interests, I feel like the throuple situation was very prominent, and the romances in general. I think this is more heavy on the romance. But like I said, for me, I didn't like either of the sisters, and that really impedes my enjoyment of the book as a whole. So the other book that I was listening to was The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. So this is, to refresh your memory, about a septuagenarian widow who has lost her husband and her child and feels nothing but grief and self-loathing and just this absolute apathy towards life in general. But she ends up getting a second chance at life thanks to her dead friend, who gives her their house on Ibiza and introduces her to a scuba guy. After which she ends up having a close encounter of the watery light kind, and basically is acting as if she'd just taken 2 kilos of psilocybin. The issue I had with this book, way too long. It just dragged. It did not need to be as long as it was. I was just like, let's get to the point and wrap this up, guys. But the book was also incredibly heavy-handed with its messaging. Messages like, life is beautiful, everything is connected. It's all about perspective. You were just deep-throated with positive platitudes, and I felt like I was suffocating. The magical realism is also incredibly strong. Okay, this is magical realism to the nth degree. There was also a lot of animal suffering and death in this, and I don't like that. I don't think it was absolutely necessary to include to the point that it did. And it just, I don't know, this was bizarre, man. It was really bizarre. It was very wild and wacky, but at the same time boring, if that makes sense. And I just didn't care. I didn't care about anything that was happening. It was fine though. It's 3 stars. I didn't hate it. I'm just very ambivalent about it. And if I sort of had known more what it would be about, I wouldn't have read it. I loved The Midnight Library, and that's why I picked this up. Loved that. This is not that. So I'd say, who likes it? Maybe if you like Mamma Mia, you know, you like things with older women on party islands. If you like books with very magical elements just thrown in that end up making the book do a 180 and veer off into unknown lands. And if you like protesting companies that are destroying the environment, then this book would be for you. So to recap all of the books that I read in this vlog, we have The Life Impossible by Matt Haig, which I gave 3 stars. The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim, which I gave 3 stars. Goblin Mode by Michaela Coyle, which I guess I would give a 3.5 stars. Sea Serpents Heir by Margaret Scott, which I would give 3.5 stars. A Room Called Earth by Madeline Ryan, which I gave 3.5 stars. And my favorite read of this vlog was Klik, Klik, Boom, the second in the series by Doug Wagner, which I gave 4.5 stars. Do let me know what your recent read was, and until next time, stay wild, Star Child.